Here in this video we will showcase the 20 oldest alien races and species in fiction. And here we won't be including deities or godlike beings, nor singular characters, but species or races of aliens that by definition can procreate or create more of themselves and thus propagate their successive generations. So yeah, basically we're doing an ancient aliens list. Let's get to it. So here we begin with the Star Wars Qua. The Qua are one of the most ancient and mysterious civilizations in Star Wars lore in legends, often remembered as precursors whose influence reached across the galaxy long before the rise of the Republic or the Jedi. Long extinct by the time of the Galactic Civil War, the Qua were once an advanced reptilian species native to the planet called Dathomir, where fragments of their legacy endured in myth and ruins. Their civilization thrived in a prehistoric era when the galaxy was young, and they were amongst the first species to master interstellar travel. 19. The Krell from Forbidden Planet. These Krell were highly advanced alien species from the classic 1956 movie called Forbidden Planet, remembered as one of fiction's most iconic ancient lost races. Native to the world called Altair 4, they were described as amphibian-like beings who reach a level of scientific and technological mastery far beyond anything humanity could ever imagine. Although the Krell themselves were extinct for nearly 200,000 years, their presence lingered on in their works. At number 18 we have the Firstborn, who are the monolith aliens in the movie called Space Odyssey and its sequels. These existed millions of years ago. They felt the awe, the wonder and the loneliness of outer space. Though not human, they were flesh and blood, and they sought for fellowship amongst the stars. When they first arrived on Earth, the great dinosaurs had long since passed away, and thus would have been at the very least as old as the early Cenozoic era. Number 17. The Overlords from Childhood's End. The Overlords are a fictional race central to Arthur C. Clarke's novel and the miniseries based on the same work. The Overlords have a surprising physical appearance similar to the demons of Earth's religious traditions. They are not just any race, they are an evolutionary advanced species equipped with superior technology and hyper-intelligence, but despite existing for millions of years, their civilization is stagnant, and they serve a higher entity called the Overmind, a god that stands above all, which represents the last stage of universal evolution. 16. Here we have the Brethren Moons from Dead Space. These are the direct result of a convergence event in Dead Space and are believed to be the final stage of the necromorphic life cycle. The Brethren Moons are a species of moon-sized necrotic life forms that have spread throughout the universe, but with a single goal in mind: to consume all organic life. As their real origins remain a mystery, we can only confirm their earliest appearance with the Black Marker arriving on Earth during the time of the dinosaurs, which means over 66 million years ago. Number 15. The Old Ones from 40K. These are amongst the most legendary precursor races in science fiction. They were a godlike civilization that flourished anywhere from 60 million years ago to potentially billions of years ago in the past, long before humanity's first steps into space or even existence. Masters of both science and warp, they are credited with uplifting and creating many of the galaxy's modern species, including the Eldar, the Orcs, and maybe even possibly humanity itself. The Old Ones' downfall came during the war in heaven against the Catan and the Necron servants, and finally by the enslavers of the warp, but their influence remains etched into galactic history with their successive races. At 14 we have the Elder Things, which came in H.P. Lovecraft's At the Mountains of Madness, and they are described as arriving on Earth over 1 billion years ago, long before the first known life had evolved. They were barrel-shaped, they were alien beings with wings and tentacles and a starfish-shaped head. They colonized the planet in its primordial state, constructing vast cities and engineering the first forms of life to serve them. Their civilization endured for eons, but eventually declined as other cosmic entities and younger life forms arose. Though they are not as vast or abstract as the Outer Gods or the Great Old Ones, their age and alien biology mark them as one of the most ancient mortal alien civilizations in cosmic horror. Number 13. The Leviathans from Mass Effect. These are an aquatic species that once ruled the galaxy over 1 billion years ago, long before the rise of the Reapers or any younger civilization. Towering and immensely powerful, they dominated other species through direct mental control, ensuring their supremacy across countless worlds. Their hubris, however, proved their undoing. In attempting to create a synthetic intelligence to govern lesser races, they gave rise to the first Reaper, the Harbinger, who then turned against them. The Leviathans were then driven into hiding, but they endured in isolation, still ancient beings who remember a time when the galaxy was theirs alone. Number 12. In James S. A. Corey's The Expanse, the enigmatic ring builders are an extinct race of cosmic engineers who flourished around 2 billion years ago. Their technological mastery was beyond comprehension, allowing them to construct the massive network of wormhole gates known as the Ring Gate system. linking thousands of star systems across the galaxy. They also wielded weapons capable of reshaping reality on a fundamental level, manipulating dimensions and space-time itself. Yet their immense civilization was destroyed by an unknown adversary, leaving behind only their monumental artifacts. Number 11. Billions of years ago, the Eddorians from E. Doc Smith's Lensman series were an alien race from another dimension whose existence stretched back for eons, making them one of science fiction's earliest depictions of truly timeless villains. Unlike benevolent precursors like the Arisians, the Eddorians were driven by conquest and domination, spreading their influence across galaxies with their cold patience of eternity. They were contemporaries of the universe's earliest civilizations and became locked in a struggle with the equally ancient Arisians, a war of ideas, an empire spanning billions of years. And number 10, we have the Shadows. These were one of the first ones in Babylon 5, who are ancient races that predated younger civilizations by billions of years. The Shadows believe in evolution through chaos, sowing conflict amongst younger races to force them into rapid advancement. Their origins stretched so far back that by the time of humanity, the Shadows had already abandoned countless cycles of life and death across galaxies. Having survived billions of years, they are immortal, inscrutable, and far older than the stars most civilizations call home. Number 9. The Precursors of Halo. These were an impossibly ancient race that preceded even the Forerunners by billions of years. Described as transcendent beings, capable of existing in multiple forms and dimensions, they were believed to have seeded life throughout the Milky Way. Their ultimate intention was to guide the galaxy through cycles of growth, ensuring the mantle of responsibility would one day pass to a worthy species. Though they were believed to be extinct, remnants of their essence live on in strange biological dust that could reconstruct or corrupt life, which were later known as the parasitic flood. On the 8th spot, we have the Xel'Naga. These are from StarCraft, and they are a godlike precursor race said to have existed for billions of years, long before the rise of the Zerg or the Protoss. Unlike most civilizations, the Xel'Naga were not bound to a single world, but wandered the stars, shaping evolution across countless galaxies. Their goal was to cultivate perfection in two forms. One would have the purity of essence, and the other one would have the purity of form, which eventually would combine to give rise to their own Xel'Naga species again. However, this very act of creation led to their downfall, as their children turned against them. At number 7, we have the Engineers. These were also called the Space Jockeys originally, and they are an ancient humanoid species introduced in Prometheus and tied to the Alien vs Predator mythos. Their civilization is said to be at least 3.5 billion years old, as hinted in Prometheus with the sacrificial engineer killing himself with the black goo to seed life on Earth. That was their first appearance. Well, chronologically, they seeded worlds with genetic material, effectively serving as the gardeners of life across the cosmos, and their bioengineering prowess gave rise to both humanity and even the xenomorph species, which is still debatable. Their staggering age makes them one of the oldest living biological races ever portrayed on screen in sci-fi. Number 6. The Q Continuum from Star Trek, who represents a collective of godlike beings whose existence stretched back at least 4 billion years, older than most galactic civilizations. Though often seen as individuals like Q, they are less a race in the traditional sense and more of a timeless order of consciousness, but still a race or a species nonetheless, and they have existed since the universe was young, or younger. Their origins are shrouded in mystery, though some depictions imply that they were once not unlike other species before transcending into beings of infinite power. Number 5. The Transformers. The origins of these Transformers reach back anywhere from 300 million years ago to over 3 billion years ago, or even just after existence itself, depending on the continuity. At the heart of their creation were the twin cosmic entities Primus, the god of order, and Unicron, the embodiment of chaos, who emerged near the birth of the universe. From Primus came Cybertron, and ultimately the race of mechanical Transformers. This made them a species not born of biology but of divine machine origins, older than many galaxies themselves. Their exact age fluctuates across media, but most canons trace their roots back to nearly the dawn of time, or creation, placing them amongst the earliest thinking beings in the universe. Number 4. The Guardians of the Universe from DC. They are amongst the oldest beings, originating from a planet called Malthus roughly 10 billion years ago. In the aftermath of the universe's creation, they dedicated themselves to preserving order, becoming immortal overseers of galactic law. Their crowning achievement was the formation of the Green Lantern Corps, wielding the power of the will itself, through the use of energy rings of course, and their lanterns. Though diminutive in stature, The gods are effectively godlike beings, watching civilizations rise and fall while they endure unchanged. But for a time in the beginning, they were still just like any other species or races, procreating and creating more of themselves. Number 3. The Zeali. These come from Stephen Baxter's Zeali sequence. They are one of the most staggeringly ancient and powerful alien races in all of science fiction, emerging 13.5 billion years ago when their future selves went back in time to accelerate their own evolution, which places them nearly at the dawn of time itself. They are described as hyper-advanced beings that eventually evolve into beings of pure light and information. Their engineering projects included manipulating entire galaxies and constructing the Great Attractor, or the megastructure called the Ring, structures on a cosmological scale. Their ages placed them only a few hundred million years after the Big Bang, and thus making them nearly as old as time itself. But even older than them are the Time Lords. These ones come from Doctor Who, and they're one of the oldest races in television sci-fi, hailing from a planet called Gallifrey. Their origins stretch back to more than 13.8 billion years ago, as their ancestors came from a previous universe before the Big Bang. The Time Lords achieved mastery over time travel through the Eye of Harmony, a captured singularity that powered their civilization. Though they're not gods, they wielded influence and control over time to such an extent that they became near immortal stewards of reality. Their great age and dominion over temporal mechanics made them one of the universe's first powers and also the ultimate powers. And number 1, the oldest, as per our opinion, are the Celestials from the Marvel Universe. These are cosmic architects whose age dwarfs most others, with origins predating the current universe entirely. Described as survivors of multiple cosmic cycles, they were born from the first cosmos and are said to be as old as 7 successive universes, each ending and beginning anew. Their role is that of eternal universal gardeners, seeding worlds with life and manipulating genetic potential across galaxies, existing not merely billions of years ago but potentially trillions of years in age. But since they do multiply in number, they are in essence still a species, and that's why they are here in this list. We also have one notable mention which we nearly forgot, and these are the elemental rays of doom. So while these are pretty ancient, they still age back nearly as old as the old ones from the cosmic dimension and the makers of that universe, but they would only be as old as the ones in the 5th or 7th spot here. Anyway, those are the 20 oldest alien races and species in fiction. Now if you like this video, then watch this other one too, and do hit the like button for support and that hype option for the ones in their phones for hyping up the video to other viewers. Also subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, fam.